always been in love with horses and always been fascinated with them for as long as I can remember. My dad is a real big horse lover as well as several of my family members. My sister and I got our first horse when we were 5 years old. By the end of my speech, you'll know a little bit more about the American Pink Horse. When I was a kid, I used to watch shows like Bonanza, Gunsmoke, The Big Valley, and I always thought it was kind of neat to watch the cowboys ride the horses as well as the Indians. And the Indians usually rode paint horses, and I thought those horses were really neat because they had such unique coat patterns, and not a single one looked alike. They were different looking. And little Joe on Ponderosa rode a paint horse, which I was always in love with that horse too. When I got onto the American Paint Horse website, which is actually American Paint Horse Association, or APHA, I first logged in to find out the history of how the paint horse came to be. And it was actually back in 1519 when Hernando Cortez, a Spanish explorer, came to the New World. He brought with him 17 spotted horses with his explorers. And how these horses soon developed into, or eventually developed into the wild Mustangs that you see on, 1800s on the ranges and stuff like that. And the Indians, of course, they would ride their paint ponies as they were known back then. And the Indians liked these horses because they had a lot of endurance and a lot of athleticism. Eventually, the cowboys in the 1800s and 1900s would seek out the paint horses too because they were athletic and they were tough, so they would use them a lot for ranch work as well as in rodeos. Eventually, there were organizations that were formed. The first one was in the 1950s, which was the Pit Horse Association. And eventually, in 1962, the American Paint Stock Horse Association was formed. And the American Paint Horse Association was formed in 1965. It was a group of people that were interested in preserving not just the paint horse's coat pattern, but also its athletic ability and the way it was built, which is a stocky breed type horse, like the quarter horse. And there was a young lady that founded it. Her name was Rebecca Lockhart. She gathered names of all these paint horse owners in Texas that were interested in forming this organization. And she was the one that got it off the ground, and now it is very much a well-known organization, and is one that is used today to register paint horses. Sometimes you hear a paint horse called pinto or paint, and is there a difference? And there is. Pinto horse can be pretty much any breed of horse, like an Appaloosa or a draft horse, and there's a registry for those types of horses. A paint horse has to be registered parentage, and this is through the APHA. And these horses have to have bloodlines that are either quarter horse or thoroughbred. And a horse can be registered with both, but usually it's the American Paint Horse Association, which is the most preferred organization. The mission of the APHA is not only to record the pedigrees of the paint horse, but it's dedicated to promoting the paint horse as far as sales and racing and breeding, and also history and just the enjoyment of paint horses. It's the second largest equine breeding association in the world. It's second to the American Quarter Horse Association. The APHA has 1 million registered horses and from 59 countries. Now I'd like to talk about the coat patterns of the paint horses, because this determines how they were registered with the APHA. There are three categories for the coat patterns of the horses. There's the Tobiano, the Overo, and then the Tobero, which is a combination of the first two. The Tobiano coat pattern has distinct white areas that are separate from the colored area. head is usually a solid color with a strip, a snip, or a blaze on the face. And the eyes of the Tobiano horse are usually brown with black eyeliner around each eye. And the tail is usually 2 or 3 different colors. The overo coat pattern is a little more irregular or splashed in appearance. There's not really a distinct line between the color and the whiteness of the coat. The tail is usually one color. The legs are more often, it says solid color, but I don't hear really what it can mean. But the overo coat pattern can be further broken down into subcoat patterns, and these are the Sabino, which is more of a speckled or splashed pattern. And the second one is the frame overo, which you can see like a different frame around the white portion on the body. And the third one is the splashed white, which is there with a large amount of white pretty much all over the horse's body. Next, I'd like to talk about the temperament and the athletic ability of paint horse. They are very easy to train. They're fun to ride, and they're really good for just about any equine event or hobby, from rodeoing to trail riding to dressage, cutting. They're very intelligent, which makes this breed, like I said, easy to train and allows different levels of riders to enjoy riding these horses because they have such a good temperament. Finally, I'd like to say that I've owned 3 of these paint horses in my lifetime, and I enjoy training them and riding them, and I found them to be very intelligent, and they're easy to get along with, and I would recommend